you must begin to learn that what you call matter does not have a separate existence from energy. Matter is but a form of energy that is at a low rate of vibration of a certain kind. Welcome to Back to the Basics, where you learn facts, hope you embrace it. Watch, like, share, bring in awareness. Watch, like, share, bring in awareness. I'm fearless. Welcome to Back to the Basics, where you learn facts, hope you embrace it. Watch, like, share, bring in awareness. Watch, like, share, bring in awareness. And so, our three-dimensional world, using an English expression, should be called the material abode. For this world is the materialization of the thought forms of a divine intelligence, making it exist as a form of vibration. And since our ancient Egyptian ancestors, Pa Neteru, are responsible for it, they refer to it in their language as Hika. Hika is the anthropomorphic personification of miracles, magic, and the manipulations of elements and chemicals of nature. Within the material abode, you have three dimensions, which are the first, second, and third dimension. And since your physical body is confined to the third dimension, most humans can only think in terms of three. For example, there are three primary colors: red, blue, and yellow. There are three common states of matter: solid, liquid, and gas, which is represented by the body, spirit, and the soul. Another three. People want a house, car, and money. Three. And so humans are confined to person, places, and things. Another three. Now, Hika, the material abode, works with the next two higher abodes, for they are interconnected. The second abode is commonly known as the spiritual realm to the spiritualists, or the fourth dimension to the physicists. To the ancient masters, this etheric abode was called Sia, or to some, Saya. Sia is the personification of perception, shape, form, and patterns that work with the third abode, making the world of created things like the material abode possible. Within Sia, you also have three dimensions, which is the fourth dimension, the fifth, and the sixth dimension. And lastly, we have the third abode called Hu-He. Hu-He was considered the personification of utterance with which the creator, Neter-Patar, who was regarded as the creator of the physical world and the deity of technology, done its work. Hu was the utterance or tone, the vibration, the pulsation of existence, and that which the creator calls things into existence within the sacred breath, with Hika and Sia. Within this abode, there are also three dimensions: seventh, eighth, and the ninth dimension. Christians acknowledge Hu or Hu-He, for they say that in the beginning was the word, which is a tone or utterance. Muslims also acknowledge Hu, for they say Allah said kun fayakun and things existed, which is also a tone or utterance. And scientists tells you that there was a big bang that birthed everything, which is also a sound or a tone. So we can now conclude that all of creation starts with a word, a sound, a tone, a utterance, which is a vibration from the ninth dimension downward. What you're hearing is the scientific stamp of approval of what the Neteru already told us. Now that you know that creation began with a sound or a tone, which is a vibration, we can now conclude that the only thing that separates one dimension from another is the tone or harmonic rate of vibration. This also informs us that each person that is created or grafted in the material abode was created or grafted of a certain dimensional rate that relates to the planet. With that said, each race is made up of different wavelengths of frequencies that slow down and move the vibration and becomes colors, sounds, and images, just as radio and television waves do. And since Africans are the root race and thus the ancestors of all others, it stands to reason that they vibrate on a much higher frequency and thus lived on the planet when it was in its original ordinal atmosphere. They can and are now intermingled with lower frequency beings at the same space and at the same time aligned. I want you to understand that this universe is composed of 8 harmonic tones, which relates to each tone of an octave in a musical scale, which also relates to the Agdawas, the original 8 Egyptian deities from which all humans descended from. And all these dimensions exist in the same space and time as does light and sound, yet they operate and appear separately due to the different particle pulsation rates. Particle pulsation rates relates to the degree of rhythm, pulsation, or vibration of particles. Many people are unaware that the planet is now evolving through dimensions due to the increased particle pulsation of the atoms that keep this world in order. And since the planet is alive and you are a part of it, all on it will also evolve with it. We call it now. A bend in space occurred, causing a dimensional shift in time and space. What that means is time is collapsing in order to create a new dimensional shift, and space is collapsing in order to create a new dimensional time. So the planet is now moving from one dimension to the next, and from one time continuum to the next. And since time and space relationship is linked to humans, we will also be affected. When and how does this happen? Well, now is the time. 24,000 years or 26,000 years for the third dimensional harmonic shift. As the planet pulls in the frequency pattern or tone of the next higher dimension into its morphogenetic field, which is a field of energy that creates form to physical things, dimensions cross by energy and gates open, allowing you to see beings from other dimensions. Much like what occurred in the Philadelphia experiment. You see, just as planets have ley lines of energy, so does the human body have energy lines that will affect the DNA of certain people, constituting the genetic shift, where your DNA explodes in awareness right now, helping to break the spell of ignorance. Since each race vibrates on their own rate of ether, and this is based on each race zero time reference, meaning their time of origin having to do with the age of all of that race. So, the older the race, the stronger the vibration, and the younger the race, the weaker the vibration. This time exists as unified fields of particle in the physical world and antiparticles on the etheric side. Both pulsate at various rhythms and spins at various speeds, creating the illusion of manifested fabric of space and time that exists, whose matrix is dark matter to dark energy, which gives the appearance of individual identities. So, as the dimensions shift, your consciousness moves through a segment of the unified field of mental substance that gives the illusion of space and time as you know them. Remember, time does not move, but your consciousness does. Move clockwise, which is towards the future, or counterclockwise, which is towards the past. And these events are called then, from now. And yet all are in the unified field of the time matrix. Your consciousness creates the illusion. So now, Earth and its different living beings, physical and spiritual, are in the third dimension of the harmonic shift. And all beings move higher, except for the weaker, who will fade out of existence to a spirit state and will not be able to ascend to the higher dimensions. All move up the dimensional shift of ether except the evil and wicked. So when we say now is the time for all good people to come, we mean it, literally. Each shift is a gateway you must pass. You are your own hinder, so check yourself before you wreck yourself. All those who vibrate low, including many who are of the root race, will not be able to ascend to a higher dimension, for their zero time reference will or is out of sync with the higher dimensions. So with that said, it is time to move higher and leave the evil behind, to move to the ninth ether, the final dimensional realm of density, 7, 8, and then the ninth, the perfected state of existence, the realm of Pa-Neter. I'm Kef Ray, and this is Back to the Basic. Like, share, and subscribe. Facts we stated, you wanna know something, go back to basics. Most saw trapping was called the Matrix. The world frivolized, yet it's hard to face it. So I spread truth, hope you embrace it. Watch